This briefing was necessitated because of the publication in Punch newspaper of 14th September, where Premier Academy said the autopsy results or report has been released to them by the police. And the findings were that there was no case of rape, and the child was not molested, and Keren died of diabetes. So immediately we saw the publication in the Punch newspaper. My lawyer and I went to the police to clarify if the FCT command, if they actually gave the school the report, because they had refused to give us the report when they called us for a briefing on the 8th of September. So, but the DCP, Joseph Pump, said, denied vehemently that they never released any reports to the school, and also said, because I wasn't at the briefing, my lawyer was there, also said from the briefing they had stated 3 causes of death, but the school only chose the one that suited their purpose to publish. So he went ahead and said they'll be calling the school to write a statement as to where they got the reports they are peddling. So, but we expected that, I haven't denied that they did not release the reports to the school. They will come out just the way the school came out and published that they had gotten the report from the FCT command. They too will come out and deny that they had not given them the report. But after telling us they did not give them the report, we have not seen anywhere in public where the police have said they had not given the school the reports. But we also have our own report that states that the child was raped, she was sodomized, she was molested, and that she had sepsis, which led to her death, her eventual death. So I really don't know what the police and the school are playing. That was what made us write a petition to the IGP asking that the case be moved from the FCT command to the force headquarters, which he has obliged us. And we have been called to the force headquarters on Monday, tomorrow, homicide department tomorrow, concerning the case.
To say that the FCT police command, which had been handling this matter, had been undermining the integrity of the investigation. On the 16th, actually, of September, Punch newspaper published an article, a news report, where Premier Academy actually said the child was not raped, that the autopsy report shows that the child was not raped, but the child died of diabetes. Interestingly, the Punch newspaper reporter who wrote that clearly said that he cited a copy of the autopsy report. Take note that around 1st of September 2021, the family of Keren Approach, through their lawyer, made an FOI request to the police, requesting that it releases the medical and the autopsy report officially to it. And let us put on record that everywhere in the world, it is not a privilege, it is a right that medical and autopsy report of a deceased must first and foremost be handed over to the family. But let us assume, without considering that, okay, because it has gotten to a point where criminal investigation is involved, okay, for that reason you say you don't feel they should have an original copy, but you still will give them a certified true copy as a matter of right. Now the same police, in the same breath, on the same day that the police came out on September 8th to say they were not releasing, acceding to the FOI request and releasing the autopsy report to the family, in the same breath and the same day, the police is now reported to have released the same autopsy report to the school. We are not bothered if the autopsy report is even released to the world. Beloved Keren is dead already. What we want is that the truth is told, the culprit is fished out. So, but what must be done is that you do not confer advantage to some set of people. There is a need to have given the autopsy report to the family, and we don't mind even to the school, and disclose. Because what Premier Academy succeeded in doing is to cherry pick. They picked the area that says the child had issues and died of diabetes, but they did not pick the area in the autopsy report that talked about underlying factors that triggered the diabetes. We have it from the autopsy report. Remember that among members of this coalition are investigative journalists who have done over 2 decades in journalism, and we're able to obtain, and we can tell you clearly that it is incontrovertible, based on the autopsy report we have, that Keren was not just raped, Keren was sodomized. She was not just raped, she was sodomized. And to quote a portion of the autopsy report, it says, whitish, quoting, whitish patches and escoration on the labia majora, and patulous anal opening and laxed anal sphincter with hymen absent. I'll take it again. Whitish patches and escoriations on the labia majora, and patulous opening and laxed anal sphincter with hymen absent. Now, in simple terms, in simple English, what this has clearly said is to establish the fact, incontrovertible fact, that Keren was brutally sexually abused, that she was not just raped, she was sodomized. And it says hymen absent. Hymen absent, hymen is what shows that somebody is a virgin. It is absent. Keren is 14 years old. So even by law, statutory rape is established if you are not 18. So the essence of asking for your email too is so that we'll give you that portion that covers this. If those who claim that the FCT Police Command and DCP Fompam Joseph gave them the report, if they have claimed it, then they should have done good by man, by God, and by the memory of the late child in making sure that you have access to all that the autopsy said. But they choose to go to the areas of diabetes and ran away from the incontrovertibly established fact that she was raped and she was sodomized. You assaulted her through her vagina, and you also assaulted her through her anal passage. And that is why it says patulous anal opening. That's talking about sodomy, clear and simple. Our problem is, why would Premier Academy choose to cherry pick? Why would it pick the area of diabetes, deceive the public with its propaganda, and not also refer to the issue of rape and sodomy? 1. 2, whose interest does it serve if we run away from the facts? Now, let's assume it did not even happen. Let's assuming without conceding that it did not even happen in Premier Academy, which is, of course, not our position. Our position is that that happened there. But let's assume it did not happen. Whose interest does Premier Academy serve if it completely ignores the aspect of the report that says the child was raped and sodomized, and tells the entire public, Nigerians, that it was diabetes, pure and simple, and not rape? Whose interest? I thought it should have been in our own interest as a people and as a school with conscience to actually work towards getting to the bottom of it work towards establishing the facts. And the police has said it clearly when they had interaction with the lawyer, Barrister Sani Izundu, and Premier Academy. All of them were together when the police said there is an established crime of rape, sexual molestation against the child. It is established. The police said so, that it is part of what it's been established. So if this has been established and the police is talking about wanting to even get some of the staff to do some DNA matching with the spermatozoa and the condom that was left in the child, then who is fooling who? There is a need. We on this side are responsible enough to say our interest is to make sure that Keren Apuch does not join the statistics of Nigerian children who got sexually abused and their rapists, abusers have gone unnoticed, unfished out, unpunished. We are saying this case is a case that should mark a turning point, that we must all work together. And we are urging Premier Academy. The right thing to do is for Premier Academy to join us, not to hide the truth by saying that there was no issue of rape, which is established by the autopsy report, but by them admitting to this fact. They can argue that it did not happen in their school. We will understand that they are arguing that for certain interest. But to take away completely the fact that has been incontrovertibly established that she was raped and sodomized will be unconscionable and insensitive and a disservice to the spirit, soul of Keren Apuch and every other Nigerian child for whom we shout, for whom we are fighting this battle. Because if we can get perpetrator in this case to be brought to book, then we would have succeeded in sending a message that no child will be abused like this and there will not be deterrent. We are trying to ensure that deterrents are established by getting the perpetrator and even those who shield them. And it is our plea to Premier Academy, please do not continue to distort facts. You can defend yourself and say it did not happen in your school. The police will do its proper investigation. You can defend yourself and say your school is of good whatever. That is your business. But do not do a disservice to the truth by telling the world a lie that Keren Apuch was not raped and sodomized. Autopsy report established, medical report established that she was raped and sodomized. And that is the reason that condom was left inside of her. The condom infected her with sepsis. The sepsis triggered her blood sugar, being a type 1 diabetic patient. All of that led to a failing health condition, which eventually led to her death. The condom left in her by a rapist infected her with sepsis. And that is the story. That is the fact. And no matter how much propaganda is done, the truth is incontrovertible. Ignorance may deride it, malice may attack it. But in the end, there it is that Keren Apuch Ondodo Akpa was raped, sodomized with hymen absent, and what we seek is justice to be done so that no other Nigerian child is subjected to this and killed in the process. Thank you very much.
I didn't know her. All I saw was a picture of what happened. Only to find out that she was my junior, I'm her president in our alma mater. I'm the president of the school. And we took it very personal. Queen of the Rosary Old Girls Association. We've been all out, making sure that this justice is served. I told them that if I'm the last person standing, I will stand so that justice will be served. It's not about me. It's about that little girl that did not have a voice. And I believe that we are the voice. Being with the coalition is the voice. I'm not going to say much, but please, this is not politics. The school should remember they have children. It can happen to their child. And the people that know the truth and have kept quiet, it can be your child, or it can even be you next time. So just know that whatever you're covering, it will be exposed, because the truth will always prevail. Thank you very much.